Hey friends, welcome back to llamamamakayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla, and I appreciate you spending some time with me today. I hope you're all having a great day. It is Friday, so we made it through another whole week. And today is Yarn Fairy Friday. And if you don't know what Yarn Fairy Friday is, it is where our crochet YouTube friend Crystal at Chronically Crocheting has had desire to be a yarn fairy when she travels to go visit with her grandchildren for the end of October, and she's going to be there through during Halloween when they have their churches has their trunk or treat, and then she wants to be a yarn fairy and to be able to pass out little small amigurumi type things to children, instead of passing out candy. And Crystal did not ask us to do this. I just thought she told what she wanted to do, and I just know that Crystal is sick, and the truth is she would not be able to make up all these little amigurumis. And so I put out a call for people to bless Crystal and help this dream come true, and the people have came through. I'm telling you, y'all are the best. If you're watching this video, you are the best. Just for watching my video and cheering us on if you can't participate. And then if you can participate, people are just doing awesome, talking about what they're making. Some people have already sent, I believe. And it's just awesome. Y'all blow me away. I am so blessed to be in this yarn community and have you all as friends. If you're sleepy, go get in your puppy bed. Yeah, go get in your puppy bed. Anyway, there are several people, there are several YouTubers who also joined in and put out videos, and I want to just say thank you. I know that Jane from Scraptastic Yarn put out a video. April Lee from Be Wild by April Lee put out a video, and Nova Gnome Creations put out a video, and I can't remember if there's anyone else. I'm so sorry if I leave anyone off, but remind me so I can mention it next time. And then Nova had the idea of having Yarn Fairy Friday, where we just kind of talk about, things to make and stuff like that. And so I am so excited about that. Last week I showed some things. I even, posted a few little tutorials in the past couple of weeks. And so today I am making something out of balls. I've mentioned before about just making some balls and then turning them into something. So to help to make my process go faster, because I got a lot of stuff going on too, I'm trying to get fair entries, finished up and ready for the fair. So I want my little projects to go kind of quickly here, but I want to make more projects for Crystal. So I was able to do that thanks to my little Addi machine. This is the I believe it's a 22 peg Addi machine, and I have the large one too, the Addi King, and this one. I've had them for several years, and I have used these things to death. Like, they're on their last leg, honestly. This little puppy, when I first start off, it is a struggle to crank it out. But once it gets past the first row or 2 rows, then it is smooth sailing. And it is just, it's been worked over really good. I mean, it has been rode hard. Let me just tell you that. I have made a ton of stuff on this Addi machine. And my big Addi machine, I've made a ton of stuff on that. And my big Addi machine, it barely works. It just barely works. That's all I can say. I still crank out a few things on it, but it's very complicated to get it to work. I mean, we've taken it apart and to see if we could try to fix it, and we could not find anything to fix. So I don't know what's wrong with it. But anyway, I also have the knitting machine from Michael's. people talk really, really bad about that knitting machine, but it still works for me. Now, I've been very super easy with it, and I baby it, and I only use thin yarns on it. I don't try to use anything thick whatsoever, which I don't on any of them. But my machine from Michael's still works great. But people dog that machine out and say it doesn't work, it's a piece of crap, all this kind of stuff, like all the time. I'm just like, I don't know, mine still works. Maybe I have the one good machine, I don't know. But I am very, very careful with it. And then I have a cheap little 22 needle, one that I think might have came from Joann's a long time ago. It was like clearance down to like hardly anything. And it drops stitches. I still use it and try to fix the drop stitch, but sometimes it works easier than this one. I will tell you, the Addi machines are supposed to be the best, and they most likely are, except I've used mine so much that they're almost dead, okay? But anyway, I still try to use them, and I did. So in today's video, you're going to see that I used the Addi machine and how I was using that to make balls, okay? That's what we're fixing to see. Maybe. So here I am about to use my little 22 needle Addi machine. It's the little one. And so I'm going to get it ready. I try to get my black needle up at the front so I'll know where the beginning is. I put a little chip clip on my yarn to just kept giving it a little weight there. And then what you do is you weave your yarn in and out, in and out, in and out, but around the needles. And so that just takes a minute. You have to go kind of slow to get that done properly. And we're back to the beginning. So, like I mentioned, my little Addi machine is on its last leg. To crank up and get the first round or two going, it is very choppy and doesn't want to work. And I basically just have to force it to work. Just never wants to work on the first couple of rounds. It used to work great on the first couple of rounds, but it's long since decided it didn't want to do that. And so now it is smooth sailing, and I usually crank out about 18 rows to make a small ball. And so I'm counting that black needle. As it passes by, I do count that needle as a row. And so I'm counting up to 18 rows. This Addi machine does have a row counter on it, but it does not work. I can clear it out and do a couple of rows, and it'll probably say like 52 rows. So it clearly does not work. And the row counter on my large Addi machine does not work either. Those digital counters just do not work very long. They wear out real quick. You can buy another row counter to put on there. I just haven't done it because I just count my rows. So now I'm done, and so what I need to do is thread my yarn on a yarn needle, tapestry needle, whatever you call them. And I just need to go around and pick up all the stitches and run them through that yarn tail, and that creates a drawstring. So this takes a moment to do this, and my arms gave out. About halfway around, my arms were giving out. They were just weak, and I was having to hold it up to reach in and pick up that stitch off of those needles. It doesn't take too long to do that, especially on the 22. Now on the 40, I don't know how many needles is on my bigger one. It's 40 something. Maybe it's 42 or 46. I can't remember. But it does seem like it takes forever to get around a whole row on that one, picking up the stitches to thread. So yeah, this just creates a drawstring on the end of your project, and then where you weaved your yarn in and out between the needles to begin with when you were putting it on, that also creates a drawstring. So that makes these little machines perfect for making balls or heads for amigurumis or anything like that you can just close it up on both ends. Now we can take it off. And so the best thing to do, this is a knitted piece of fabric, so you kind of have to stretch out your stitches, open all those stitches up because they will be, closed up. So you want to stretch that to open them. And on this particular project, my Addi machine did mess up a few stitches on that very first row, and so it's not wanting to close properly, but I'm a make it work kind of person, so I made it work. It takes me a little minute there, but I do get it to work. I'm determined. And so it did, the stitches on the very first row were kind of wonky, but, like I said, I'm going to make it work, so I'm trying to make it work. So I'm just going to sew that end closed. So that's all I'm doing right there, is sewing the end of that little tube closed. And I'm kind of trying to pick up those stitches that were kind of wonky and just pull them in for a little tighter, to be tighter and, not loose. So I think I got it there. So I always double my fabric because the little knitting machine does create a thin layer of fabric, and if you're going to just stuff it, it's not, the stitches are not tight and not, they're looser knit. They're knit, and so you'd be able to see the stuffing. So I'm putting one ball inside another ball, and so my outer layer is the, color of my project. I'm just pulling that around and stuffing that ball inside there. By doubling the fabric, it gives it a more firm feeling, and you can't see the stitches. If you use a different colored yarn like I just did, you might be able to see that up under there, but I didn't think that was a factor in this project. And then I crocheted some little eyes to stick, and I'm sticking some little safety eyes on the little eyes that I crocheted. And I'm just going to put a little stuffing in there. The ball feels pretty firm, so I'm just going to glue those little eyes right there on top. Yep, hot glue to the rescue. Had to clean off my glue gun a little bit. Just putting a little glue all the way around the base of that, and just going to stick it right on that ball, right on the top, and hold it down there just a little bit so the glue has a little moment to cool off, because when the glue cools, it is stuck and it is there. So I have one eye down and one to go. I'm going to do the same thing with that one. I'm just going to hot glue it right on the top of the head. So now our little frog head is coming to life. He has eyes. So I thought, oh, he needs a mouth. So I was going to grab my black yarn, and it took me a moment to locate it. I thought I had it right here beside me, which I did, but it was under stuff. So I got my black yarn, and now I'm in the process of trying to find the tail, and I could not find it. So what I ended up having to do was just cut the yarn and start a whole new tail, 2 tails. It's just a little floppy piece of black that I have, and so it'll be okay. So now I'm trying to decide where the mouth is going to go, and so I like to stick needles in there so I can kind of map it out, and get it exactly where I want it before I start putting yarn in it. So you can see I kind of move those around a little bit to play with it and make sure that, I'm getting it where I like it. I'm going to thread up my yarn needle. So I go in from the back and bottom, and I'm going to come out where I have my first needle. So I pull the yarn through, but you do want to leave enough at the hanging out the back to be able to tie it off. So now I just go in where that needle is and come out at the other needle. And now I need to go back into the center part and take my yarn all the way to the back to meet up with that. So you want to come out like 1 stitch under that one. So the mouth is there. It looks cute. And now you can just tie off your toe tails. There are a stitch apart. I went in one stitch and came out the stitch below it. So I just tie that really well, a couple little knots there. And then I thread those tails onto a needle. And just make it come out somewhere. Usually I do on the back side or the bottom side of whatever project. And then pull that tight and just snip those tails off, and everything else just kind of goes back up into the ball. So there we have a little frog head. Okay, so now I'm making a bat. And so I forgot to put eyes. I was going to put some safety eyes on the ball, but I put it all together before I put the safety eyes on it because it just slipped my mind. So I crocheted some little black circles. Just, I think I did 5 single crochets and then slip stitched together, and that was the end of that. That's what gave me my 2 eyes. So I just crocheted those little circles, and so I'm just hot gluing those on for my eyes. Just press them on there real tight and let the glue cool. Because once that glue cools, it is there. So now I need to put the little wings on. And I just hot glue that, and the wings, I put them in the direction that I want them to go. And hot glue those little things on. And so for this bat ball, I did use, for the ears and the wings, I did use the tutorial from Crimson and Wool, and I will share the link to that in the description box below this video. So if you would like to make some of these little bat balls, it's a crochet pattern where she crochets the head, she uses safety eyes, and crochets the ears and the wings. And then she does put a little mouth with fangs on hers, but I decided not to do all that for this. I thought just being a little bat ball was good enough. And when you have a lot of just thread in there, like making fangs or a mouth, you don't know if, kids might pull that out. So it probably would get pulled out and stretched anyway. So, and now I am just gluing some little tiny ears on top of the bat. And the ear pattern did come from Crimson and Wool. One more ear and the bat will be done. I hope this gives you some ideas of, just taking a ball and you can create different things. You can create different little animals or such. So there is my little bat, and I'm happy with that. And I think whatever kid gets that will be happy with it also. So now I have a yellow ball, which I'm using it as a yellow scoop of ice cream, and some hot fudge and an ice cream cone. Now, I did not use a pattern for any of this. I just kind of made it up, and that's why the cone looks a little wonky. It's because I made it up. But I think it looks fine. It's going to work. I'm a make it work kind of person. So I'm putting hot glue around the top of my cone. And I'm just going to set my scoop of ice cream on top of the cone and hold it down, press it down there real good, and let that hot glue cool. I did remember to put my eyes on this project, and I put a little pink nose on there, and I decided not to do a mouth. So I think that ice cream's on there good. Now we need to put the hot fudge on there, and you just kind of have to move it around and decide, where you want the drips. So I'm just going to put some hot glue in the crown part of it, which would be go in the center of the head. Slap that down there on the top of that. And now we have our little fudge drippings that we need to go around and hot glue those little drippings down. And again, I didn't use a pattern for that, but last weekend I did make a large ice cream cone. I think it was last Sunday's video, and so I remember making that, and I just used what I remembered making that to make this. So it does take a moment to go around and glue all those little hot fudge drippings down. Tell you what, it made me want some ice cream. I think these little projects, turned out cute. They're fast, they were easy to make, and so I will probably be making some more of those this next week. I'll keep my little Addi machine out and make some more balls and see what little projects I can make from that. You can basically just take a ball and give it any kind of ears and a face. Or you can make an ice cream cone. But you can make jellyfish, octopus, just whatever after you make the ball. And so I probably will make some of those into little projects like that. Got the hot fudge all glued down. And I think the ice cream cone turned out cute. It's just a cute little project that I think kids would like. Well, I hope you enjoyed those clips, and maybe that gave you some ideas of little things that can be made with just taking a ball. I mean, you can crochet a ball fairly quickly. I just felt like I could crank one out on the knitting machine even faster, so that's what I did. And I always double my material to just make it more sturdy and more a little bit professional looking or something. But anyway, here is the frog I made, and it's just a little frog head. I think he's cute. I think he turned out adorable. I did not use a pattern for this. Well, I have made a frog in the past that had eyes on its head like this, and so I just knew to do that, so I didn't follow a pattern to do it. I just knew that you just crochet up and put that on there. So anyway, I think the little frog head is cute. It's something, you know, Crystal could give out. And then I made this little bat, and this little bat is by Crimson and Wool, I believe, but I will leave a link to her video. Now, I did not put the mouth on there. I'm good with it like this. So there's the little bat, and I didn't use safety eyes. Actually, I was going to put safety eyes on it, and I forgot, and I had already put it together. So I just crocheted, like, I think I might have single crocheted 5 or 6 and slip stitched it together and then just put it on there. So there is the little bat, and you know, I think that'll be easy to give out. And then I made this little ice cream cone. I think the little ice cream cone's cute. So, I mean, you can make animals, but you can also make other little things. And so I didn't follow a pattern for this cone, and so it might look a little wonky starting off here, but it's, you know, I think it's good. And then I just crocheted around and then made some drippings from the hot fudge or whatever, maybe that's on it, chocolate shell, or I don't know. But anyway, so here's a little ice cream cone that I will be sending to Crystal also. So, yeah, that's just a way that, you know, I use my Addi machine to make fast little projects. Like, you know, I had to crochet the cone and the hot fudge, and then I had to crochet the wings and the little ears and the eyes on the bat, and then this I just had to crochet the eyes part right here. But you know, making the little balls on the Addi machine was just super fast and simple, and they work out really quick. So guys, I appreciate you all watching. If you have any ideas for people to make things for Crystal, you can leave those comments in the comment section below, and everybody just kind of look at those and see what people might say is a good idea for little amigurumis. We're making small things, you know. We're making small things. This is kind of borderline too large, but it'll pass. You know, and I had showed some eyeballs in the last Friday's video, some little cups, some hair clips, some little daisy flower things, stuff like that, you know. And you can take these little balls and you can make, you could put rabbit ears on it, you could put dog ears, you could make one a unicorn. There's just so many things you can do with just a simple ball. So I just wanted to, you know, throw that idea out there to you. But I do appreciate you watching, and I will see you all again in the next video. Bye, friends.